Well, welcome to the next edition of The Road Ahead. Where on earth is God taking us is the subtitle. And I think we, like many other churches, are now facing a new reality that I'm starting to call hybrid church. What I mean by hybrid church is that most churches, whether they've yet realised it or not, now need to cater for three distinct groups of people who are engaging with their church services and who are part of their church family, and no one strategy is going to fit all three groups. The first group of people are people who are still continuing to self-isolate. The second group of people are people who can meet in small groups. And the third group of people are people who are ready to return to large gatherings. Now, of course, the large gatherings are going to continue to be influenced and affected by social distancing, which means that I think part of the challenge we all have as church leaders at the moment is to manage an ongoing process of grief, because the first Sunday when people turn back up at church is going to be a disappointing moment, because they're going to realise they're not heading back to church as they remembered it. They're heading back to a reality where they're 1.5 metres apart, where it's not so simple to serve tea and coffee, where communion will be different, where the experience of church is going to be quite different. But let's talk about the strategy we at Citywide are using for each of these groups of people, and how, for me, that the real question of this moment is, how do we help each of these groups of people follow Jesus in every aspect of their life? Now, most of us have had to develop strategies for the solo viewer, the people who are watching church from their lounge rooms. And we've just done a recent survey which shows that on average, that for every one connection you have watching your church service, you actually have at least two people. So you kind of double your audience when it comes to a church service. Often with your standard YouTube viewers, it is one-to-one, but because church is what it is, we on average have at least two people watching. And so these people, that one of the central questions is, how do we help people connect into community? Now, we've been heading down a trajectory with this. We have our online service, which we broadcast to YouTube, but in addition to that, we invite people to watch it on Zoom, and we create small group connections. And we're going to be more intentional actually during our service to both continue to broadcast to YouTube, but also to create space for Zoom conversation and to create space for people to be engaging, because it appears as though these restrictions are going to be with us for a long time, and we're going to have to move to another level of building community for our solo viewers or our home viewers. Now, we're now stepping back into what we call micro churches, and I think these are one of the most exciting possibilities for the Christian church at the moment. We'll be emphasising and encouraging people to connect in micro churches. What we mean by that are home churches, but home churches that are connected to the bigger. And so we're not asking people just to run a church service by themselves in their home, but we are inviting them to connect with the broadcast service. But what that means is they have a Zoom connection or connected through YouTube. But we have to, in our online service, create more space where people not only where they can take their attention from the screen and connect with each other. So we're going to increasingly, as we've already said, with the solo viewers, we're going to create space in our services for people to engage, to talk together, to pray together in their groups watching the service. And now, in addition to that, we're still a little way away. We are in Tasmania staggering the re-entry into large gatherings, and in July, we are told we'll be given a number between 50 and 100 of the size of gathering we'll be able to connect with. And I'm preparing that phase of restrictions probably will be with us for a while, possibly even up to a year. We may be restricted in the size of gathering, and certainly we have a 4 square metre rule, so to do with the size of auditorium and how many people can fit in. So that means for our Lena Valley auditorium that normally can hold up to 120, we're restricted to 39 people, and for our Mornington campus, which ordinarily can hold up to 300, we're restricted to the maximum number the government gives us. But even if with the 4 square metre thing, we'd be restricted to about 120. And it's going to feel awkward in the large gatherings because the seats are going to have to be 1.5 metres apart. It is going to, and we are going to need to be socially distanced and be thinking through how do we hand out things. What does it mean for communion? What does it mean for tea and coffee? It'll probably be BYO, tea and coffee for a while. And so we're needing to think about how do we serve these 3 groups of people. We are preparing to continue our online service for these 2 groups of people, and we at this stage we're expecting that what we do for our larger gathering will be part of what prepares. One of the things I've been so proud of with our music team and what's been happening is that our music team have been recording new music every week. We're expecting that some of that new music will start to get recorded from July in the large gathering, but that the online service will continue to be a collaboration, and we'll be continuing to invite people. We've set up a way for people to contribute videos. We've actually got a little instructional video for how to record your own video. We've got that on our website, and we'll continue to focus our service in and around the collaboration with people from around the state, and that still toying with it, but considering maybe around July moving our online service to 9 a.m. and having the in-person gatherings maybe at around 10:30 for those who can gather in person, but continuing and seeing that our task is to build for the foreseeable future a hybrid church, a church where all the action isn't happening around the in-person gathering, but that we continue to have input through the week, through the various mediums. Particularly for us, Facebook and YouTube are our 2 main points of connection with. Also, we use Twitter a little bit and Instagram a little bit. That will continue to produce content, but that we'll also continue to encourage people to move towards fellowship through small groups. And fortunately, small groups will be able to gather in person, but we will continue to have options for people to gather through small groups and Kingdom Cells online. And that we are, in effect, building a church that is based less around a Sunday service and more around serving the actual network. And I think this is a big part of what God's doing at the moment. He's taking us away from organisational thinking to network thinking. And so what we're realising is that there is an actual network of relationships that represents the church. And that in the past, when we talked about church, what we thought about was the Sunday service. But really what we're needing to do is to create an environment where people who can't make it to the Sunday service can still remain part of the network. We've been working hard on phone calls and pastoral care systems, but largely what has happened is we've moved away from the organisational mindset. And I've recently filmed a video about that I'll release soon, about the difference between the organisational mindset and the associational mindset. I think probably this week we'll do a two-parter when it comes to the road ahead, because both inform the other. And I think we are moving to, I'm calling this a hybrid church model, where we're needing to have church services that cater for people at home, that cater for people gathering in small groups. And we're really hoping that these small groups, these micro churches, could grow as an ongoing strategy and possibly be a way of planting churches into the future. And these slightly larger groups, these mini churches, where we could have gatherings of 20 to 30 all gathering, and we're exploring ways that we could maybe host the church from different sites using technology, having someone in one city or suburb or town doing a Bible reading, and someone else performing an item, and someone else doing a sermon from somewhere else. So we're still working a lot of that sort of stuff through, but working out how do we create a church service that recognises a network of relationship that is cannot just be limited to those who can turn up on a Sunday morning. And so micro churches will represent the little hubs. Our bigger churches will be maybe slightly bigger hubs, but we also have to recognise there'll be people in nursing homes and people who are self-isolating still, who we need to find ways of caring for and making sure they can still come to church. So that's what we're thinking of, that the future of the church, at least for the next year or so, really is this hybrid model, and it won't be based solely on those who turn up to church on a Sunday morning. We'll continue to be providing an online service, and we're still wrestling through whether that has to be in addition to, or will form the basis of what happens as we move back to live gatherings, probably around July. So that's our sense of a bit of the road ahead. I'd love to get your feedback and hear what you think. And as I said, there's a particular thing that's informing all this, that is a framework that John McKnight developed about the difference between organisations and associations, and that's really helping my thinking at this stage, and I'll be releasing that shortly.